me, oh, you know, is it going to be? I said, I'm going to sit back and wait till it happens and let the adventure begin. It's like the curtain going up in the theatre. You don't, it's the excitement of what's going to happen. I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. I just want it to unfold one Saturday or Sunday, whenever they deem to put it on, with whatever team they give me. I'll be a happy woman.
Well, we've got the series coming up now, hopefully. I think it's the end of October. So hopefully we'll get.
Well, I've enjoyed it all so far.
Yeah, I've got no complaints.
I have no complaints. Some are better than others, but that's television. And you know, people say, oh, I didn't like this. It's the arts, darling. We all see it differently. And for some of us, it's going to work brilliantly. I just love it. I really love it. I sit there quite happily with my cup of tea. And it has to be watched on the sofa, doesn't it? I mean, there's no, I can't do this thing as people say, oh, we're all going to watch it in the pub. Why? It doesn't belong in the pub. It belongs in my living room, where it started.
I think you should go round to Stuart's and watch it round there with him.
Oh, no, he'd never give me the bloody clicker. I'd be battling away, and as soon as I got hold of that, look, what?
I've got time for one or two more questions, very quickly.
Oh,
right up at the back there, Tony.
Hi, Katy. I've heard in a previous interview that you knew Jimi Hendrix. Can you tell us a little bit about what Jimi Hendrix was like?
There's children here, darling. I had a lot of boyfriends. Well, you know, why shouldn't I? It was a wonderful time.
I'm going to take one more question from the audience. One last chance for the audience to ask a question. I've got two hands. I'm going to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm going to give it to you, sir, with the beard.
Okay. Katy, you've been interviewed by Matthew Sweet and Tony Hago in recent years. Is it difficult for you to sort of be interviewed and be asked serious stuff?
It's not so much the serious aspect of it, but you know, it's very easy to get into the drama of my life. I mean, the things that have happened to me, which I choose, because it's not about what you can't do, as I say, it's always about what you can do. And keep going back over the dramatic and horrendous things that have happened in my life. I don't need to keep reliving that. Also, I will say this in a fairly serious answer, but it won't last long, but in a very, because it was a serious question, is that I have had such an extraordinary life with the people that they just happen to be in my life. You know, with a very well-known father, and then we know who my friend was, so growing up with all of those what people look upon as being massive Hollywood stars were just part of my life. It's really difficult to want to talk about it. It was just a part of my life. And also I hold very tightly that you don't have people like that in your life if you're a talker. You know, you hold very tightly those relationships, and I came at a very early age of what I didn't talk about outside a private relationship. And I've always respected that, and I always will do, which is why when people say, why don't you write the book? Well, no, because I've then got to, you know, and so it is difficult. And also, you get to the point where you think, I can't keep dropping names on the floor. I mean, because everything that happened to me possibly happened with somebody very famous. And that's, you know, it was difficult for the children as well, in all honesty. So I can tell stories here and there, but everything involved terribly well-known people, and it's really, you know, when people say, and you think, oh, I can't say who, and so when I was just, you know, being mummy and bringing the children up, and you know, when I first went to Australia and I didn't really know anybody, I knew one person, I had 2 sick children, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I was doing it, you know. I had to do what was required as a mother to do the best I could for my children who'd been so ill for so long. And you know, and then we'd go into a group of like actors, Australian actors, and they'd all be telling stories, and I couldn't tell mine. And that's why in the play I wrote, Not a Well Woman, I talk a lot about secrets, because, you know, I keep so much of my life a secret. So on that level, yes, it is difficult. And it's not about being serious, it's about protecting, and I can tell the odd story, and of course I will, and I'll give you the odd name that goes with it, but there's so much more. And sometimes I think, shall I tell? So I hold back in interviews. And with Matthew, I said to him, I'm sorry, I was like second guessing everything I said because I didn't want to go too far and yet there were so many stories I want to tell.
We haven't got time, but I'd love to hear all of them. I have actually got time for one more question. I'll take yours, Sir Dan.
Can you remember the first time you recognised on the street as Joe Grant? What was that like?
I was recognised before Joe Grant because I was in a series that everybody loved called Man at the Top, which was really huge back then, and the women were all in love with Kenneth Hay.
Yeah.
So I got recognised as, oh, you're the lucky woman. But as Joe Grant, it was very, very unexpected, and you know, it was just sort of weird because John taught me about fandom because I didn't know any of that world. I'd seen it with big movie stars, but I'd never put myself in that sort of situation. It's really weird. It was like I was living all these different lives. But yes, it started to happen a lot more when I was on the tube. And suddenly, you know, and then John would, I remember landing in a helicopter somewhere and there was all these people and I said, gosh, that's a big cast. And John said, no, I think they're fans. I went, what? And I could think of all the things I was taught to do when I was with those other people in my life. And it was just the most extraordinary experience of my life that people were coming up and saying, oh, I love you, and getting all these fan letters saying I'm in love. And it was all very, very mind-blowing to me, you know, very, very strange. And I look at what I've got around me now and all these people, and I just honestly, I feel such love and such warmth for you all, and I think you know that is genuinely from my heart. You are amazing. Thank you so much for being in my life. Thank you.
And just before we finish, can I have on just before we finish, I just want to give a shout out. Katy has submitted a piece for a book that's being written very quickly and put together very quickly for a very, very dear friend of ours, Anthony. If you don't know the story, please, we spoke about it earlier. We've done it already. I just wanted to give a very quick shout out to that.
You've got Paul Mars and you've got Joe Litch.
If you haven't already bought the book, please, we're asking people to dig deep and buy the book.
There's flyers on the Hoover store, and last orders for it are, I believe, Monday. They're very, very soon. So
I haven't bought one yet.
Oh, we need to move quickly.
I've written in it. I've written the story.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation.
Thank you, my darlings. Who's doing that? Well, it was almost pleasurable for a second.